Hello and wonderful Tuesday morning to you here on What You Got. Today we're kind of doing something a little bit different than normal. Okay. I really struggled to put together a partner, a single partner for this one. And so what I decided to do, because this is such a giant community problem, is I've decided that, you know what, let's get together as a community and maybe make something of this. Maybe we can start a school supply drive. Maybe we can do something a little bit different. So I hope you enjoy this. It is a little bit different than what we usually do, but you know what? There's still one thing that's the same. We're going to ask you to help us out and tell us what you got. So now today we focus on something that matters to every community out there. This is not just our community. This is us calling out to you, your community, no matter where you're at. I don't care if you're in a different country or it doesn't matter. These are some things that we can do to really make a huge difference for kids out there, and for every kid to have a chance to succeed. Look, we cannot sit there any longer and talk about how kids don't know this, kids don't know how to do this and this and this. If we don't put up ourselves as mentors, and if we don't teach them what we were taught when we were younger. So once again, today we focus on something that matters in every community, helping kids learn. Every child deserves the tools they need to succeed. Every teacher deserves support, and every classroom deserves resources. So every community, this includes you, has the power to make it happen. Teachers show up every day with heart, patience, and dedication. They give their time, they give their energy, they give their creativity, and too often they have to give their own money to make sure their students have what they need. So today, we step in. Today, let's help lighten that load. Our mission is simple. Next time you're at Walmart or Safeway or Kroger or Albertsons or hell, I don't care, Alco, wherever you're at, no matter where you're at, grab a notebook, just an extra notebook. Grab some pens, pencils, crayons, and drop them off at a classroom. One small act can change a child's school year. One small act can remind a teacher their community stands with them. Grab some hand sanitizer. We all know that kids need more of that stuff. I don't even know if we can actually deliver that, but so check with your schools before you do something like that. But and if you cannot drop off school supplies, you can still help. Okay, use this QR code up here. Donate to the Come Together Compass so we can provide school supplies for kids who need them the most. Look, we're going to use the money that we raise from now until school to help kids get school uniforms, get school supplies. If we get it in, we'll help by sending it out. So we ask you to help us out. Get your offices involved, folks. Say, you know what? Let's put together a school supply drive. And bosses, how about this one? Encourage your employees. Whoever collects the most, buy them a dinner. You know, buy them a lunch, buy them something, send them out, get them something nice. Why not? So you do that, you can really make a difference, and your business can get put behind this wonderful mission to helping our kids in our community. We need to help kids. We need to make sure that we support them. We need to make sure that these kids have mentors. This is important. We had them. We were able to grow. We were able to do wonderful things with our lives. It's time we pay it forward. Look, helping kids learn is one of the most powerful things we can do. Education shapes futures, builds confidence, and opens doors. But education becomes harder when classrooms don't have the basic tools students need. And right now, we are in a crisis of cost. We're in a crisis of availability. Some kids just simply don't have what they need. And if you can take and support what we're doing here and become part of this, that doesn't have to be an issue. Our teachers are our heroes. They work long hours. They manage crowded classrooms. They support students who face challenges at home. They create safe spaces for learning, and many of them spend hundreds of dollars out of their own pockets every year to make sure the students have supplies. You also have to remember, a lot of times in schools, that's the only chance that these kids get for nutritious meals. Here's a chance for you to make sure that these kids have every opportunity that they need. And here's today's mental health fact, okay? Studies show that students who lack basic school supplies experience higher stress, lower confidence, and reduce classroom engagement. Something as simple as having their own notebook or pencil can make a child feel prepared, capable, and included. I remember, and it is kind of funny because I remember when I was in school that I always had a notebook for every class. I think that was kind of mandatory, if I remember correctly. Now, I don't even know how much notebooks are even used anymore, to be honest with you, with computers, but I know I use a computer all day, and sitting on my desk right now, I've got multiple notebooks on top of a whiteboard, on top of my calendar, on top of, I've always got things to write on. And it's just because writing helps me learn. And it's a great skill to make sure that you have. So, I got pens and markers and stuff everywhere. Look at this. We had art in the park this weekend, and here's 2 pens that I picked up just because, well, they were available. So I did it. But something as simple as having their own notebook can make a kid feel prepared and engaged. Makes them feel included. Makes them feel like, they belong. And this is where our community can step in. This is where compassion becomes action. This is where the Come Together Compass can shine. The Compass helps us identify needs, connect resources, and support families who cannot afford school supplies. When you donate to the Compass, you help us provide backpacks, notebooks, pencils, crayons, markers, folders, and everything a child needs to start the school strong. Imagine a child walking into a class with everything they need. Imagine a teacher feeling supported instead of overwhelmed. Imagine a community that refuses to let a kid fall behind. This is what today is all about. If you or someone you know is struggling with financial stress, emotional overwhelm, or back to school anxiety, reach out to a resource like the National Alliance on Mental Health Illness Helpline. That's 1-800-950-6264. 1-800-950-6264. Support is available and you're not alone. So today, let's help kids learn, let's support teachers, and let's strengthen classrooms. Let's show our community what compassion looks like. And this is What You Got. So our question of the day, what school supply made the biggest difference for you when you were a kid? And I was actually thinking about this the other day. I think the one thing that really I enjoyed most was getting that Trapper Keeper or the new shoes for the new shoes for the school year. But yeah, the Trapper Keeper was always one of my favorite things. And oh god, I ended up ruining those things like within probably 6 weeks of the school year opening. But you know, back in my day, of course, we had like, when Hasbro first started coming out, or well, not first, but the GI Joe, the Transformers, all that stuff. The first ideation of them. So, but when I was in school, and then when I got a little bit older, you liked all the animal print ones and all that other funny stuff. So, but yeah, it was always the shoes. I loved getting new shoes. And I remember as a kid, the first thing that you do is you take, and as soon as you get home, what's the first thing you do? You take off, you run around the neighborhood, or you jump, and you wonder how high these new shoes make you jump. Oh God! So, but our daily challenge is this. Oh, please answer that question in the comments. And again, like, share, subscribe. Let's get a lot of people involved in this. Let's make a huge difference together on this one. But our mission of the day, the daily challenge is grab a notebook, grab some pencils, grab some pens, crayons, Kleenex, drop them off at a school, drop them off at the school administration building, or donate up here to the Come Together Compass and help us provide school supplies for families that are out there and kids who need them the most. So thank you for spending a moment with us today and helping kids. Look, helping kids is one of the greatest gifts we can give to our community. When we support teachers, we strengthen classrooms. When we support students, we strengthen futures. When we support each other, we strengthen the world around us. If you are able to take and grab a notebook, pencils, pens, any of this stuff, thank you so much. If you're able to donate to the Come Together Compass, thank you. Your support helps us provide school supplies to families who are doing their best but need a little bit of help. Look, every act matters, every gesture matters, every moment of compassion matters. Together, we can make sure our kids walk into school with confidence. Together, we can make sure our teachers feel supported. Together, we can make sure our communities continue to grow stronger. Together, we can make sure that no child has to go at this alone, because we're all going to come together and make a difference. My name is Zach Clayton with Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass, and Pact Podcasting Networks. I want to thank you very much for joining us today. Please remember to love someone out there, because someone out here loves you. Please, a simple notebook, pens. If you can do this, please do it. If you've got a child, send it to school with your kid. Say, hey, you know what? Drop this off at your office so another kid has a chance. Show your children how cool it can be to help others. Make sure that they're not part of the bullying that goes on when a kid doesn't have something, because you're going to provide that child with a way to support other kids. Imagine the bonds that can be created because we got together right here on What You Got. Thank you very much. I will see you tomorrow back here for What You Got. Have a great day.